Welcome to an episode of the Boom Breakdown. We got a special guest in the house. You guys will see something real special for you. Uh, we're gonna break down a few of these fights on this card tonight for the UFC. I know it's a little fucking late, but what do you know? I was busy getting tattoos done. Boom! It's boom time. All right, let's see. Well, we'll start with Frankie Edgar and Brian Ortega. Frankie Edgar is a guy who's obviously got a very well-rounded game. He mixes it up. He's got strikes, really good boxing, working with Mark Henry. His footwork's on point. His head movement's on point. And he's just a guy that doesn't go away. I mean, we saw him get rocked in the past, and it's just like he gets hurt in fights, but he comes back even stronger. So it's really tough to put that guy away. And obviously in this fight, he's gonna have a little less reach than Ortega, but he's gonna be able to use his movement, his angles to get inside on the dirty boxing, and maybe even land a couple of takedowns. Now, I think the key for Frankie Edgar is to make sure that if he hits takedowns, to land in side control, because Ortega is very dangerous off his back. He's got a lot of chokes. He's really good triangles. And if Frankie wants to be anywhere on the ground, it's going to be in side mount, in my opinion. So, there's not much that Ortega could hit from side mount. Frankie's got really good ground and pound. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's solid on the ground. So that's where he's going to want to be. Now, when it comes to Ortega, he's going to want to keep Frankie on the outside of his strikes and obviously try to latch up a choke. Frankie's a shorter guy, so Ortega, hit that choke on Cub Swanson when they were standing up, that Darce where he just kind of pushes the head down and goes for it like this. And he's sneaky with it. He wraps it up quick. So I think Ortega could have a chance to wrap something up in a clinch, where he can kind of snap Frankie's head down and grab up a Darce or an Anaconda. And maybe if Frankie gets a little reckless with the takedowns, he can latch something up there as well. When it comes to the striking, I gotta say Frankie Edgar's a little bit on a higher level than Ortega as far as well-roundedness and boxing goes. But Ortega's no slouch on the feet. He's down to scrap. He's willing to get in there and throw some strikes. He's got some good knees, some good boxing himself. He's got good speed to him, but I'd say Frankie's on another level with the striking. Obviously, Ortega wants this fight to be on the ground at some point. I think if it stays standing, Frankie's probably going to be outpointing him, outmoving him, and probably taking him into the later rounds and overwhelming him with the amount of volume that Frankie could throw. Ultimately, in the end, I got to go with Frankie Edgar. I think he's going to take this fight by decision. It'll probably go the distance. Frankie might get caught in a submission here and there, but I don't think that guy's tapping. It's so hard to finish that guy, so ultimately, I see it going the distance, and we'll go with Frankie Edgar by decision. Now in the co-main, that is the co-main, I guess, right? But the Cyborg versus Yana. I'm just gonna say Yana because I'm gonna butcher that fucking name. Obviously, we got to go with Cyborg here. I mean, she does what she does to every single girl she fights. I think Holly Holm had the best chance to dethrone Cyborg with her point striking, her movement, her range. She's a big 35er, coming up to 45. And she kind of had that style where maybe it was going to give Cyborg a test because Cyborg likes to come forward, stalk her opponents, bully them, really throw hard power shots at them. But we saw in the Holly Holm fight an improvement in Cyborg's game as far as taking her time, a little bit more patient. And I gotta say, in all honesty, I don't know too much about Yana, but I was watching her open workouts, and she seems to throw some flashy, tricky stuff. She has some good knees, good elbows, good spinning heel kicks that she was throwing, and I think that's kind of a way that you could throw Cyborg off is to be a little bit unpredictable and do things that she's never seen before because you got to make Cyborg uncomfortable. You can't give her that respect early on where she starts to find her rhythm and starts to stalk forward on you and put the pressure and make you uncomfortable, and then she just gains confidence from there and she's going to land that power shot. And if she hits you with that power shot, we see girls, they start to fold once they get caught by Cyborg's punches. So it's a tough one for Yana, especially making her debut in the UFC for a title fight. I don't know if that's a first, but very rare to see that. I'd have to go with Cyborg. I think she's going to get a early TKO, whether it be first or second round. her power is just too much for these other ladies. But yeah, Cyborg all day. Then we got that third fight with Sukumta and Sugar Sean O'Malley. This fight's gonna be I think this fight's gonna be an exciting fight. Maybe a candidate for a fight of the night. Both of these guys come with different styles. Andre is more of a basic striker, and Sugar Sean is more of a flashy guy who likes to throw spinning stuff and unorthodox kicks and keeps his hands down and puts his head out there. But ultimately, I think he has the speed advantage against Sukumta. Obviously, he has the reach advantage, and that's going to be a big thing in this fight. I think Sukumta is coming into this fight. He's looking emotional in these pre-fight stare downs. I think you don't want to fight emotional. You don't want to get over zealous in there and overcommit to something and get caught in the exchanges. So, I think Andre has the more cleaner style, and he's a little bit more technical as far as his striking goes, but his ground game is not so strong and his wrestling is not so strong. And I think that kind of helps O'Malley in this fight because O'Malley loves to strike. He loves to get in the firefight and put it on guys with his volume, his speed, and his unpredictability. I think in this fight, Andre Sukumta is going to be willing to exchange with him because he's got heavy hands himself and he's coming off a knockout, so I'm sure he believes in himself with his power. But I think that's going to be a downfall for him because O'Malley's got the speed, he's got the spinning techniques, he's got really good head kicks. And if they get into an exchange, I could see Sukumta getting caught by one of O'Malley's strikes. As much as I hate the cocky bastard, I'm going to have to go with Sugar Sean in this fight by either a second or third round finish by TKO. We'll go to Struve and Arlovsky. Struve has been looking good as of late. Arlovsky, obviously, we don't know which Arlovsky is going to show up. He's a legend from the old days, but he's starting to get a little bit washed up in there, and his chin's obviously been tested over the years. So Struve is a guy that has a really tall, long-range build to him, and Arlovsky likes to get in and get close and get in boxing range. If Struve could work his range and keep Arlovsky away with those front kicks and those long leg kicks and that long jab, he's going to be able to pick him apart, I believe, and eventually get the KO in this fight. We got Kat Zingano making her long-awaited return in Vieira. Kat Zingano's a really emotional girl. She goes in there with her heart, a lot of passion in her fights, and she fights really exciting style where she leaves it all on the line. Good kickboxing, really good jiu-jitsu, really good in the scrambles. And Vieira is a scrappy girl too. I mean, she throws heavy hands. She's got some good boxing. But, as much as we haven't seen Kat Zingano in a while, that's obviously a factor that plays into it. We don't know what she's going to come back like. She's been out for a while due to, injury, I think, and maybe some mental issues that she's been facing. But if she's the same old cat as old, I think she's going to be too much for Vieira. Kat Zingano's fought the best of the best. She's beat the best of the best. And ultimately, I see her coming out. Maybe it'll be a decision because she might start a little bit slower, being that she hasn't been in there in a while. But yeah, I got to go with Kat Zingano in this one. Let's go down to the prelims. I'll hit one of these on the prelims. Obviously, one in my weight class, the bantamweight division, Dodson versus Munoz. Two high-level guys in the top 10 at bantamweight. Dodson, I feel, in my opinion, is probably one of the hardest guys to fight because he's so fast, he's so jittery, he's in and out. He's got power in his hands, and he's really good at avoiding strikes. So the way that he fights, it's very difficult. If you're a fighter's fighter and you want to get in there and scrap, Dodson's not really the guy to fight. He's going to touch you and be out of there and run away and try to outpoint you. And, he has the power to hurt you, but he seems to be a guy that doesn't want to exchange in the pocket for a long time. He seems to want to be in and out fast, which I don't blame him. That's a smart way to fight, but it's a difficult way to fight against. Munoz has obviously got that guillotine. Really strong grip. He's really great on the ground. He's a black belt, but he's got crisp striking as well. But I would give the speed advantage to Dodson. He's got a better in and out game. He's going to be able to outpoint him on the feet with strikes, I believe, and also be able to touch him and not get touched. So I could see this fight going the distance as well. And if it does, I would give it to Dodson by decision. I see him outstriking Munoz in this fight, and I don't think Dodson's a guy that you can get a hold of and take down. He's just so fast in there, the way he moves. I don't think Munoz is going to be able to take him down and possibly get a submission like he has in the past. So we'll go with Dodson by decision. And that's it, folks. Nice, sweet, quick. Boom time. Let's go. Thanks for tuning in.